Whoa.
Are we back?
Okay, we're back. Yeah.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, chat.
Right,
We gotta talk.
How many points do I need to redeem for Jordan to have a brain aneurysm?
Zero.
I've got 102k.
Oh my god, I need a minute. So, chat, I've had the most stressful day streaming I've ever had. Just now. Oh fuck, I need to update the things.
It's okay, I banned you having a heart attack for at least the next 5 minutes.
Thanks, Aki. I'll wait 5 minutes. Okay, so welcome to Exalted, everyone. Sorry about the weirdness. It's... Oh, fuck. I don't even know how to describe how stressful this has been. So, how long have I been streaming for, Aki, would you say?
1 minute, 9 seconds.
I mean, overall. Time. Perfect, thank you.
Lots.
I would say about maybe 2 years. About that. Oh, thank you for the Prime, Skull. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thanks, buddy.
No problem.
So over about 2 years. In that time, and I don't normally get behind the curtain because it's just unprofessional, but in that time, I've made some pretty significant upgrades to how my stream functions, like how OBS records things, and my profiles obviously are different. Everything's a little bit different. And I've made improvements over that period of time. So imagine my surprise when today I booted Streamlab OBS like I do reflexively anytime I sit at my computer now. And it was like, would you like to import some settings? And I'm like, no, I would like you to load the ones I have. Sorry? What did you say?
I have never met this man in my entire life.
Yeah, Streamlabs was just like, I don't know who you are, but whatever your streaming goals are, we can achieve them, buddy. And I'm like, yeah, I sure fucking hope so. Oh my god. So I finally opened Streamlabs after it does an import, and everything is gone. 2 years worth of working on my stream and like fixing up my settings, adding overlays, audio channels, and fucking scenes and sources and all kinds of shit was gone. I had a panic attack, straight up. It was a bad time, and then I finally fixed the thing. It turns out it was saved. Thank God. I boot the stream up, and then I go to turn off my intro music so I can use the royalty-free stuff that I use on the Exalted streams on, and I accidentally hit the stream button, so my stream crashed. And then Aki's like, why aren't we live? And I had another heart attack.
But I banned them. So
oh,
it's all good.
God.
But yeah, chat, I can confirm, unlike Jordan, whether or not Jordan is wearing pants, that he did have a panic attack.
Yeah, straight up. That was the most stressful shit I have dealt with recently. And I have dealt with some shit that has been stressful recently.
So, what did we learn about backing up our work?
It is backed up. That's the thing. I was like, where is my backup? And like, I was also having a panic attack, so I wasn't exactly, firing on all cylinders and everything. Oh my god.
Why didn't I back up my backup?
Like, actually, like, why didn't I import this to my fucking Google Drive or something? Like, I was mental. I'm still trying to calm down.
Alright, Jordan, I have a very important question. This is why you wear pants. Yeah, the very important question. Are you, in fact, wearing pants? You know what? No. Which, if he is wearing pants, he has shit them off by now.
I am wearing pants. They have zero feces in it. Oh my god. That was so stressful. Hello everyone. Thank you for bearing with me during this extremely stressful period in my life. hello to everyone in the chat. Blackthorn, Ginger Fox, good to see you. Good. Hey, Lavana, I'm glad your first day was good. I need a minute. I need a lot of minutes. Anyway, we're playing Exalted. And, as promised in the Go Live announcement, this is going to be the high school episode. I hope everyone's ready for it.
Yay! Ben has never been to high school. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Joaquin does not wish to relive those days. What?
Mercy was in juvie for a good portion of high school, so...
Yeah. Fortunately, before we started, of course, I briefed the players on what to expect today, so that you know it doesn't get too weird.
Yes, you definitely did that. On an unrelated note, Jorb, I'd like a minute in private note.
Jordan, I'd like you to catch these hands for a minute.
Old
Why?
Navy would like to know your location.
I don't understand why you guys are so angry. I definitely explained it, or had a panic attack, one of the two.
The javelin is approaching at fucking millions light speed.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
Sadly, no. I'm actually streaming. So it has been a month since the last session, right?
No.
In game?
No.
I think in game it was like a week.
2 weeks then.
A week. Blue booking was a week. If you're retroactively giving me an extra week of blue booking,
I think I did.
Don't take advantage of my sick like
we
that.
we just extended the deadline.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Oh
now
my god.
I'm having a heart attack.
Good. Join me in pain. Fuck. Anyway, trust not the pattern spider saying that I gave you 2 weeks of blue booking.
Yeah. Ignore that spider.
Yeah, ignore that spider. Oh my god, guys. I am having a fucking moment. Hello, Nick, and also T. Hello. You are great too, T. And Nick. Hello. I can't even, I'm having trouble focusing. I'm sorry, guys. So, last session, you guys went to a different country, right? Do you remember which country that was?
Yeah. It was India.
Oh, India. Very cool. Did you check out the Ganges?
No, we didn't have the time. We were trying to deal with the aftermath of a massacre.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot. It was Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something. Who knows, really? Who could even remember? You know what? I'll turn on a radio show. Maybe they'll tell me.
Yeah, no, Darius said we're checking out a local flesh tower.
It was a radio tower.
Yeah.
Made by an
tower
architect
anymore.
who didn't fully understand what was meant by bones of the construction. Oh my god. Yeah, that's right. Then you came back, you had a week, and we're going to be picking up after that week. Does anyone have anything they want to bring up they were doing during that week, aside from being a sad boy, Ben?
Ben was a very sad boy, okay?
Mercy, do you wanna go through blocking the pipeline as a summary, or would you like me to start?
No, I can go through it. So basically, so Mercy checked out another link in the pipeline, which is a large evil corporation that James and I are investigating.
Yes, as opposed to the benevolent kind of corporation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, you guys run a corporation. Are you telling me that it's evil?
That's a good point. I think we have the benevolent corporation, the one.
For legal reasons, we are not going to answer this question. Please direct your attention to the giant bald man on your screen.
God, he's sexy. Should I keep staring at him like that? Do you think he'd be weirded out? Do you have his number?
6.
Okay, hang on one sec.
Good, like 6. Wow. I was gonna go 2.
Oh.
What a shitty thing to say about Jorb, Aki.
Oh my god, that was devastating. I don't think I'll ever recover from that.
Can we go for imaginary numbers? -3?
I think, oh my god.
No, he's just been around so long that 6 was the phone number he had back then.
Oh, yeah, okay. I misunderstood the instructions unclear, got dick stuck in ceiling fan.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
So blocking the pipeline.
And yeah, so Mercy checked out the headquarters for Tracker Security Firm and is setting up, hopefully, an on-stream op for later.
Yay!
That's it.
Okay.
All right. Joaquin is continuing to maintain some very, very carefully curated and non-specific, but actually, never mind. Some very carefully curated social media for the group. He's cooperating with Darius to offer binding agreement services, capital B, capital A, to important negotiators and governments in exchange for diplomatic immunities, and a small fee. Apparently, this is also available to businesses. Thank you, Darius, for the update. And he also has been looking into the new powers he has manifested ever since looking into the yawning void of the dog/weapon in the not demon's hands, since she doesn't like that term. He's working on some sorcerer's workings to try and fix the disconnectedness of the dog's victims, and lastly, he is working on creating a network called the Havens of Knowledge, which we will hear more about in future. It's just beginning.
Okay.
There's also apparently now a set of guidelines, capital G, for the self-proclaimed faithful of the Solar Exalts, but Joaquin wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh, good. Well, I think we're gonna get started unless you guys have anything else to say.
I think Darius, if he's still not verbal at the moment, he said he was organizing business, spoke with his super awesome AI that totally wasn't fucked around with
It's not
by
an
a
AI.
certain autocathon.
It's a god.
Yeah, no, he spoke with I Am.
Yeah, I am is the god of the internet.
Definitely not gonna bite us in the ass later. And Ben was a sad boy.
What could the god of the internet possibly do that would upset, I don't know, the status quo or mankind?
James, did you say what you were doing this week?
James mostly kept to himself. Sorry. Stand by. He received a gift from Mercy. She did some chatting with Abigail and got Samuel a memorial plaque at the final word, and he's continued to try to learn how to better beat the shit out of things with his new giant fucking hammer. Not to be confused with a giant fucking hammer.
Well, I mean, I could give you a giant fucking hammer. They're called, well, I could give you a grim sight, but what's the other one? The dire maul? Dire maul, right?
Bald, it's 1848, let's fucking go.
Sam, is it a dire maul? The big hammers?
Which? Oh, I believe you are correct.
Gore
yes,
maul.
they are called gore mauls. Thank you.
Yes. So that would be a fucking hammer, because whatever you get hit with is fucked. Anyway. So, if you are in the chat and you are not a mod or a pattern spider, get the fuck out. Or just put it down, whatever. Keep my numbers up. And we're gonna get started. So, everyone is at the compound.
I guess so.
Who's doing what?
Ben is probably just in his room.
They can't hear me right now, Pat.
Joaquin is definitely managing the constant stream of incoming. He's got a basic algorithm sorting them, but he's going through the most important of the constant incoming emails and probably physical mail and chat requests from the various social media.
Okay, so immediately your algorithm returns a trending hashtag. A local news story has grown into a trending hashtag.
He turns to that, kind of pushes some stuff off of the... He just kind of waves some stuff off of the screen and makes that bigger. What does it say?
Okay, as it pops up, you note that it comes with an attachment. The attachment immediately opens itself, and a kind of generic gray humanoid figure appears on the screen and says, "I think this one's important," and it gestures towards the body of the file, which is a collection of Twitter notifications and local news stories and releases from the police and the press. And basically, everything that you could see collected says that apparently there's a school bus that has gone missing on a field trip. Everyone is freaking out because it was a bunch of... the field trip was for kids who had done well in a civics class that were being taken to Parliament.
Are these the kids who were at the gala?
Some of them are likely the same, yeah.
Oh boy. And this is local to here. Does Joaquin recognize the voice or the humanoid figure?
Oh yeah, it's I am. I am is on your screen.
Yeah, I am. Oh, hello, I am.
Hello. This seemed important.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. I am does not leave your screen.
Joaquin's gonna do a little bit of his standard digging into what the media knows, and he's going to absently say, "I am. What access do you have to information about this that is not readily available via the media?"
This was the most relevant I could find, although I did note that here's the list of the children that have gone missing, and immediately a class list pops up. And all of these children, or these 7 children, and she highlights them, they were all outspoken against a particular billionaire who may have a reason to dislike them.
What threat could they possibly pose? I suppose they have the ear of important people, but...
It's unknown. He was never really big on the internet.
Tell me his name, please.
No.
I beg pardon?
That was me. No, I am is very helpful. I am not. His name is Clarice Fenner. He's a billionaire who a few years ago made some software for tracking truckers across, well, the world.
And that's how he made his billions?
He nods, yeah.
Thank you. Please give me the basics of his portfolio, and I'll do some digging into what little social media presence he has, perhaps any...
I am like puts a hand off screen and then pulls out a file back into the screen and puts it down on the desktop, which causes it to pop open in front of you. And it's a list of all of his public financial trades and big dealings and whatnot. And the only major thing that pops up is, and the only thing you can find on social media or anything from the last 3 years, is his philanthropic work opening a school.
Is it related to this school?
No, not at all.
All right. Joaquin raises his eyebrows. I'm not used to anyone searching more efficiently than I do. Thank you very much.
I says, oh, I could be less efficient if you'd prefer that.
I sincerely do not. Thank you for your help.
Of course.
I'll call upon you if I need anything. You seem to have this under control.
I see. I'll return to the mountain then. Walks off your screen. And your computer fan immediately stops having a heart attack.
Joaquin, Joaquin contacts the rest of the circle, puts a little thing in the group chat saying, with a very brief summary of all of this, and then meet in the common area in 5? ?
Yep.
Joaquin's just like, oh, this is very intense. Typing out on his phone, Ababa.
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 Apparently Darius right now is experimenting with a sewing needle in his prosthetic arm.
Oh,
and Mercy
it hurts,
is
Darius.
Yeah. Mercy's acting as a medic, and Ben is just hiding in his room.
Alright, do we assemble Joaquin's gonna just do his best to assemble the party. Anybody who doesn't show up is gonna get a visit.
Okay. So, after some time, you guys manage to get yourselves together.
Just a quick aside, because it's actually relevant. What have we heard from India since? It's been a week.
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, the government eventually went public with the information that those villages had been destroyed, but they had no leads on the perpetrators, and no one has claimed responsibility.
No mention of us. I think somebody did Anima Flare.
No, there was no mention of you either.
Okay. And no inbox from any officials.
No, not at all. Although, there is a bit of politicking going on in their parliament. The government in power is having to field a fuckload of questions about why they let this happen.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
But that's
Alright, Joaquin definitely has
like
an algorithm going for any mention of radio towers in the same breath as the supernatural, or in the same breath as anything that isn't usually associated with a radio tower. He's basically cut out the noise as best he can, but he's still getting this constant feed of new radio towers construction, etc. Just kind of on one section of his very broad array of screens. Nothing important there, I imagine.
Nope.
Right.
Almost like whatever happened in India is over.
Mm-hmm.
You guys missed it because you didn't deal with the tiger.
Yeah.
Lastly, any evidence at all of unusual radio waves that have been detected in the past week?
You're looking for some nerd shit?
Oh yeah.
Nope.
All right, sounds good. No, none of the hobbyist communities,
because no one is in the underworld
radio enthusiasts
radio waves.
have received an unusual broadcast. Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
Cool. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. All right, moving on.
All right. Moving on. Does everybody meet in the common area?
Yep.
Ben takes a while, but he does eventually get there and just flops onto the couch.
Is a while longer than 5 minutes?
Potentially.
he might get like a quiet knock on his like slightly ajar bedroom door ?
Yeah, he'd open it. He does not look happy. He does not look like his cheery self.
Has he been? Did he attend this week's martial arts practice with Joaquin?
Yeah, he did training with Joaquin and with James, and then he just go coop up in his room again. He's definitely not having a good time. It seems what happened in India really shook him.
Yeah. When he answers the door, Joaquin says, I thought I'd check in on you.
Thanks, man.
I've been giving you some space, but you might want to know about this.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. He just flops down on the couch beside Mercy.
Okay.
Oh, it seems we've... a bus containing some containing students known for... it was activism, right? And political science?
No, they won a prize through a civics class.
Oh, okay. Including some that we've met at a certain gala, has gone missing. IAM has detected some link between 7 of them and a billionaire, though he has little enough presence that there is more to be learned.
Oh, sorry. IAM did tell you what the link was.
Oh, sorry. It was that they were opposing...
They were protesting his school.
Oh. Okay, sorry. They are protesting a school of his, and he'll share the other information that IAM gave.
Okay.
Where did they go missing?
Jorb,
They were last seen leaving the high school that they all attended in a school bus, and they have not been seen since.
What's this guy's school like? If they're protesting it.
Someone's phone turns on. Notably not Darius's phone. And IAM appears on it. IAM says, "Oh, this school is for those less fortunate but very gifted," and the website for the school pops open to the About Us page.
Thank you, IAM. It was definitely Joaquin's phone. He's been doing a lot of... IAM probably still uses the incredibly intelligent equivalent of algorithms, and Joaquin has been doing by far the most interaction with IAM.
That does not mean IAM would use that phone.
Damn, okay.
IAM would use whatever phone IAM thought was the most efficient.
Alright, fair.
So whoever's got the most powerful phone.
Joaquin.
Fair enough.
So, yes, for a different reason.
I'll turn on the smart TV in the adjacent living room and be like, here.
Okay. IAM immediately appears on it and says, "Thank you." So, it looks like, well, the tagline is that it is a school for gifted children who didn't get the chance they should have. It is, well, it looks very lovely. Some of their alumnus have spoken, as you can see here, and the page scrolls down, and you can see like glowing reviews from the different students who graduated from there in the last 3 years. And according to their LinkedIn profiles, the kids tend to do well. And one of them pops open, and you can see he's become a consultant at a major security firm.
I mean, I'm not saying this is Professor X's School of Mutants, but, well...
Where's the controversy here? Sorry.
IAM says, "Oh, sorry, give me one moment." And the webpage closes, and you can see a weird sort of Technicolor background made up of numbers, ones and zeros, and the occasional 2. You could also see like the impression of something in the distance in the static of what you're looking at. And then another page appears, and it's a study into not a study, but an opinion piece about the school, talking about it being basically a recruiting ground for conservative ideology. Because the kids go there, they get the chance they want to succeed in life, and the whole time they're there, they're taught that, you know, they should have got this chance, but since they had earned it themselves, they deserved what they got afterwards, and they worked hard for it, and it's just constant reminders that they earned it, and the implication is that kids who didn't go to the school didn't.
And it's well placed to place its alumni in positions of power. It's
Exactly.
an efficient machine.
In that article, it actually discusses a student protest that had garnered some attention, and in the picture demonstrating the protest, you can actually pick out some of the kids from the youth leaders program that you'd seen before.
Huh.
Okay.
Damn.
Is this a private school? Do you have to pay to get in, or?
No, apparently it is scholarship based. Joaquin is going to be bringing this up. It's
IM says, it sort of. The billionaire just pays for everything.
Who doesn't like an educational sugar daddy?
IM goes, yeah, well, it looks all very good publicly.
It also, they also no doubt have a great deal of gratitude to him, both innate and suggested.
IM shrugs.
Of course. They got an education that they were denied completely free. They're taught to believe in a certain thing. It's basically a cult wrapped in a school.
Bingo.
So,
Mercy's got it in one.
Do we have any idea where the bus of children was supposed to be headed?
Parliament.
Okay. So we're gonna need to start there to try and get an idea of where it may have gone.
Well,
Start at the school, work our way towards Parliament, see if we can find... I don't know.
I am, if I may.
IM turns her head over. Yeah.
Is it possible for you to look up the route based on security cameras or traffic cameras along the way that the school bus would have taken?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I've been doing that this whole time, and the school bus has avoided those cameras. Which is odd.
It avoids those cameras, but it still gives us a lead.
Well, there's cameras on both of the major highways in this area, so that leads me to believe that they haven't left the city, or they went to a secondary location first. Now, I could look into some more private data, but that is a no-no, so.
It's a place to start.
You want me to look into the private data?
No, thank you.
Looks almost disappointed.
I know. You've done very good work so far, thank you, I am. But, even having a lead on the bus avoiding any security cameras would give at least some form of a
Was there a point at which it began avoiding them, or was it from the start?
IM says, well, just looking at the data, it's hard to say because they wouldn't have crossed any on their intended route. But then the fact that they never arrived, and I would assume that the police are looking in that area, I can't tell without looking more deeply, and I'm not doing that unless I'm specifically told to, because then it's not a moral decision on my part.
Darius asks where the billionaire is based out of.
Oh, unknown, but there are rumors, a local small island salty one near a spring.
How long has this school existed?
3 years.
And the alumni are all students who began 3 years ago and have graduated since?
Correct.
And it is a secondary school, yes?
Correct.
How many
You know what?
grades is that?
Granted.
I may need to cross-reference publicly available. Please cross-reference publicly available knowledge about the alumni, and include any who might have the ability to arrange a bus hijacking. We can't rule out the possibility that this was done by an alumnus disgruntled at anyone who would protest their alma mater. The billionaire may not even know.
Okay, how specific and in depth do you want me to get in my search?
Start very non-specific. Anyone with ties to security.
Let me
to
rephrase.
Education.
Am I allowed to violate privacy?
No.
All right, I'm done. They're all
Thank you
fine,
for that.
upstanding citizens.
Mm.
None of them even has, as far as I can tell, a DUI.
I mean,
That would be
arguably,
a value at the school.
arguably the one of the security company. I think I saw it on the one of the ones that gave a glowing review. The LinkedIn one.
I am says yes.
He's part of a security company.
Yes, he
No,
is.
It,
Private military contractor, no less.
I mean, I'm not saying that is exactly a red herring, but well, better than nothing.
And besides, someone with such ties might be, and a great deal to lose, would be quite cautious about allowing something to be traced back to them. We need to start at we need to start with basics and see if we can find anything implicating one of the alumni or the billionaire. And most importantly, we need to find those kids. If we find the children and never find out how they vanished or who vanished them, I will still consider that a success.
Basically the same thing.
Okay.
Jay,
Not that I'm saying we should give up, but priorities.
is this guy on the shit list?
Let's have a look.
Probably not. He was basically an unknown for the last 3 years, or before 3 years ago. Aside from he made software that makes it hard for truckers to sleep or pee, and now he's a philanthropist who opened a school that gives kids a fighting chance.
Fair enough.
Not exactly terrible person.
I am. You have my permission to look into any of the files from the final word? Can you see
Okay.
if he's mentioned there at all?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Any other files you want me to look into?
Yeah, Roswell.
Oh, okay. Well, let me take
I
a
was
look here
joking.
for a second. Weird. The military doesn't keep their very, very private files just laying out in the public.
That's a shame.
I'm the god of
Okay.
the internet, not all information.
Try password 123.
I don't think you fully understand how networks work.
That was a joke,
Oh, that's fun.
and that
He
was a
looks
reference.
very impressed. Like, he looks genuinely thrilled that you made a joke to him.
Darius says sorry, God?
Or was that sorry God?
Yes, I'm the god of the internet. The maker made me this way. Well, the maker and the maker.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have enough component souls to be a god. The classification is god.
Congratulations,
Darius,
Darius.
did you just make a god?
You had a hand in fathering a god.
Well, maker. So Darius has asked
like
in the chat how many souls it requires, and I am responds, I'm not sure, but apparently I have enough of them. I have it on good authority. Also, I keep making new ones, I think. The internet is very large.
I'm
And
gonna
always
go.
growing.
I'm gonna go get the Jeep packed because it sounds like we're headed south.
Oh boy.
So, you don't need me to look into anything a little more private to maybe find out if I can track down those kids. You don't want that edge?
Not at this time.
I do.
Oh, good. I am disappears. And reappears about a minute later. I think I found
during that minute, Joaquin just kind of looks at that was James. That was Darius, right?
No,
No,
James.
That was James. He kind of looks at him. I don't like the idea of doing this as a first resort.
I don't want to end up with a bunch of dead kids, and if that means that I do something a little sketchy.
Your actions reflect on all of us. I'm trying to make sure that a bunch of religious fanatics don't cause trouble. And if we aren't willing to keep to our own morals, how can we expect them to?
I says, this is awkward, but I might know where they are.
What's done is done. Where might they be at? I am.
On a boat.
The secondary location, or one of the tertiary.
Well, there is a yacht club with a school bus parked in front of it. The school bus has the same license plate as the one the children entered. And, funny enough, there are no sailings departing that yacht club, and yet that boat left. And the image of a boat crossing in front of camera shows a lot of large guys in dark suits walking around the deck.
Great.
Well,
Back onto a boat. All right.
What?
All right. Please, from that image, try to find out what model of boat that is.
Oh, it's actually a unique boat. You'll never guess who owns it.
Is it the billionaire?
How'd you know?
A hunch.
will it be me? Yes.
Aki, you can only spiritually own one boat at a time.
Yeah, and I released that boat the second that we went to duck. My boat.
Says, if you'd like, I can jump over there and see what I can see on the traffic cam. They only have one on the island they're going to, but sorry, I don't know that yet.
I'm gonna go grab some things. Ben just leaves.
Okay. Who reported the children missing?
They were reported to the police by the school, but shortly after the story got picked up because someone in the police must have left.
Okay. And they're headed for Salt Spring.
Yeah. At least that seems to be what I Am thinks is happening.
Well.
Okay. Well, load up with whatever you need. I suppose we'll start heading over that way and go do a wellness check? Question mark.
I Am says, do you need a boat?
It's fine.
I might know someone.
I imagine you know many. What would be required?
You would have to meet him. He'd have questions.
Will he? I would prefer a solution that requires more money and less meetings. But if this is the fastest, by far,
It's not the fastest. I Am looks up at you innocently, his like eyes actually getting to anime size while he blinks.
Can't Darius just buy us a boat?
All right. Tell us who this is while we head for there.
His name
what's
is
the
Hank.
location?
And
very well.
He goes by Hank the Hunter 252.
Ah, I see. Internet friends.
All I have are internet friends.
That's familiar. Onward. Please introduce us to Hank.
Oh, good. Hank doesn't know that he's going to know you, so I'll be right back. I am reappears instantly. I'm talking to Hank. He's very distrustful.
I would imagine. Perhaps someone less distrustful would be.
It's important you meet Hank, I think. A friend of a friend introduced me. And he is now asking why I am calling myself. I probably should have been more honest with Hank up front. But Hank has agreed to meet at the boat. He's probably going to try and kill me, which might mean he might try to kill you.
I don't think that we necessarily want this ride from.
No. It's important. It's important. It's important. Trust me.
Why is it important?
He's a friend of a friend, and I have been sworn to secrecy as to why this is important. But you can trust Hank. He's one of the good ones.
People trying to kill us? Is it Tuesday already?
Well, I think he's just mad at me. I'm just worried he may get mad at you by proxy. Hank is not taking I am very well.
All right.
Oh,
many
hang on.
don't like the idea already of being
Maybe
spied
coming
on.
around. No, he's not. Never mind. But still, he'll meet you there, and he will help you. I promise. If he doesn't, I will make sure that you have a really, really good death meme.
Thank you, I am. Joaquin just glances around at the group. I still think maybe we should just take the ferry.
I am. Could you make sure that it's one of those ones that goes as viral as the me and the boys looking for beans at 3 a.m?
I am says, the internet does not work that way, but I will do my best.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Mercy leaves.
Send the coordinates to the GPS in my Jeep, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, wait,
You've been a
sorry.
great help, I am.
And then you see I am pick up a paper airplane and throw it off the screen. I'm just doing this for your benefit, so you can see me doing things. But
I can see that, and thank you for your help, I am. I'm interested to see why this is so important. We'll see you there.
Oh, I'm already there.
It was a turn of phrase, a figure of speech, but thank
you want me to go away? Okay, bye.
Not okay.
I am walks herself off your screen.
Okay, so
let's follow Mercy before she gets too far ahead.
Sorry, I clearly am out of the loop here. When did we get system agent software?
Darius
You
made it.
haven't noticed?
Yeah. Is.
They've been popping up on all of our unless
Mercy
you
puts
ask
her
me.
hands on James's shoulder. Darius is the father. And grabs her go peg.
Darius is the daddy.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yes,
Darius says when the phone got let out of its safe.
Right.
Apparently, this is what happens when you try to watch a being known as the Great Maker with even simple technology.
Right.
I
Sorry,
was mistaken.
Clearly I just forgot. Okay, let's go. Get in the Jeep, crank the tunes.
Everyone piles in and drives to the fisherman's dock that you were sent to. When you arrive, I.am says, okay, his name is Hank. I've never seen him in person because he's scared of cameras, but his boat is called the Hole in the Water. And he assures me that it does in fact work.
Is Hank under threat, I am?
Always.
Is he under threat by you,
No.
us, or...
No. I might want to know things, but I wouldn't harm anyone.
I understand, but does he believe he is under threat by you or us?
Probably. He's very paranoid. Of course, he's right, but he's also very paranoid.
All right.
Well, while these guys are talking, Ben's just gonna get out of the jeep, walk over to, I'm guessing there's like a fisherman's lodge with a door or something.
No. This is a full dock, so this is like commercial fishing boats.
Alright, he's just gonna start walking over to the dock, looking at the names of the boats.
Okay, you find it pretty quickly. It's a decent boat. It's not terrible. It's not fancy.
Hello?
A guy comes out from underneath, from below decks, walks up and says, "Hey, are you, you're, from the internet?"
Not really.
He's very scruffy. He doesn't look like he's showered in a while. He's got a scraggly beard. He has short cropped hair. He has kind of a wild look in his eye. And looking around his boat, you identify no less than 8 hidden weapons.
Cool. Ben just casually shrugs like,
sort of.
Someone from the internet sent me over here. Are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Hank?
Okay. I'm Hank. And what's your name?
My name is Ben.
All right, Ben. And what are you?
That's a good question. Last I checked, I was human.
Uh-huh.
My
Right.
friends and I need to talk to you about boat trip to save some kids.
He looks for a moment like he's gonna tell you to fuck off, and then you mention it's to save kids, and he kind of goes, "Fuck! All right, come on, quick."
Yeah, just let me go grab my friends. Hey guys, I found them.
Okay.
Actually, I am found HunterNet.
Why?
You guys were just busy talking. Ben just goes and does.
Okay, strapping up the gear, let's go.
Okay, so as soon as everyone gets on the boat, you see him walk over to the side where you entered, and he pulls a salt shaker out of his pocket and just draws a line of it across the threshold of his boat. And then he says, "Down there," and he points down.
Ben looks down.
There's the cabin below decks.
Oh.
It's tiny.
I think I'm just gonna stay on deck.
He says, "No, we gotta talk down there. Can't talk out here." He is.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
He looks at how big Ben is, and then at the tiny
Well,
cabin,
this is New World Hunter.
and then back to
Oh.
Ben.
He says, "Don't care. Snuggle up."
I'll go in last. You guys just
He waits
Squeeze
until
it
everyone
first.
piles in. You're all very cramped in this cabin. And he walks in and closes the door behind him. On the inside of the door to the outside, you guys can see what is very clearly an arcane sigil painted on the door. In what appears to be nail polish. He says, "You guys in the know?" And he points to the symbol.
Partially.
Partially. Alright? He leans behind the counter, pulls a double-barrel shotgun out, checks that it's loaded, and goes, "You here to kill me?"
Are you here to kill us?
He looks at the mag. He cracks open the shotgun again, and he says, "There's 6 of you."
No, not that we're aware of.
So the fucking lying internet friend told the truth. You're here for the kids. That's it.
Yep.
Yep.
As far as we know.
Fuck. All right. And he turns around and says, "You could come out. I just fuck." And then he goes upstairs, and you hear the engine start up.
Okay. Joaquin does have spirit detecting glance active at all times.
Great.
Not immaterial.
No, he's real.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Sorry, who came out? I think I missed this thing.
He's saying we can come out of the cabin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hank the Eloquent just told you you're allowed to leave.
Yep.
Okay.
Ben looks over at Darius and says, should probably teach your little, internet kid some manners. Apparently he's a bit of a liar.
It is the internet. It'll learn manners.
Or it
Yeah,
will
but there's
access
also
Reddit.
porn on the internet, so...
Really? I had no idea.
Darius
Ben
over here pretending to
pokes
be me.
Darius's robot arm and walks away.
Darius, you feel the poke.
Okay.
Just in case it's not clear, you feel everything. Like you should. Like it was
Okay.
a normal arm.
I have one question. Do I feel everything when it's not attached?
No, it has to be attached.
Okay, good.
Can you remote control it now?
Ooh, I love that idea.
Adam's family up in here.
I need to install an eye into it so that I can see through it.
Darius, or Joe, it might be a good idea to check out that sigil. I don't know what it means, but you guys might.
I'll give it a shot. I would like to roll occult if relevant.
Intelligence and occult.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna do the same.
I'm gonna all-encompassing sorcerer's sight this.
That's magic detection, right?
Yes.
It glows.
Detection and analysis, I should say.
It glows. It's a protection sigil.
Oh, okay. I don't need to roll.
It's fairly obvious. This is not like amazing sorcery. This is pretty entry level stuff.
All right. Fair.
If you were talking circles of sorcery like an exalt would, this wouldn't even be terrestrial.
This is thaumaturgy.
This is thaumaturgy.
Okay, cool.
Darius, you recognize it as one of the sigils from the Lesser Key of Solomon that's supposed to ward off demons or evil influence.
I'm gonna look at Joe. Does this actually work?
As a matter of fact, yes. It's very weak, but just sorry. Out of character, can you describe the sigil itself to me? Where is it again?
It's on the inside of the cabin door. So when he closes the door, the sigil completes, but it's painted around the door.
All right. So basically, it's a demon/evil spirit ward. It is magical, but weakly so.
Yeah, it's very clearly not made by a powerful sorcerer.
It might be a good idea to install some of these around.
Probably doesn't help that it's made out of nail polish.
I can adapt this as a component of a greater working, but I'm afraid its provenance is actually. I do know a little about this, but I'm not sure why.
Looking around the room with Sorcerer's Sight on, by the way, there's a few other symbols in a similar vein. There's quite a few of them. Like, this is what he does as a hobby. They're all in various shades of nail polish, but there's a whole bunch of different sigils of protection.
All right.
This guy is very clearly trying to protect himself from something that he thinks is out to get him.
I will. I will communicate this to the others.
Yeah, you think? He does kind of seem a little paranoid. Just
And
generally.
yet, these symbols are in fact magical, if weakly so. He, as I am stated,
Are you
is
saying this on the
paranoid.
deck?
Right.
Because it's a small boat,
No.
he could probably hear you.
No. This was before leaving, if that's okay.
Okay, yep.
Joaquin says he may be paranoid, but he's right. At least in some ways. I wonder what is out to get him, or if he imagined that part. Maybe I'll inspect him for curses. See if I can do any better than I did with... Well,
James will go up onto deck and try to be helpful in getting underway.
Okay, when you go up on the deck, he's already back on the boat. He's untied, and you guys are just taxiing out of the harbor. He looks extremely practiced, like he's done this 1,000 times before.
Mind if I ask you a few questions,
Yes.
Hank?
It's not how this works. We don't talk to each other. We don't learn. You not been doing this long? Shit. No, you haven't been doing this long. We don't get to know each other.
we understand. We won't pry. Joaquin is going to use this interaction as an opportunity to use All-Encompassing Sorcerer's Sight again. It's a single instant. And are there any magical effects on him?
Yeah. Under his shirt, he's wearing about a maybe 15 or 16 different necklaces, all of which have holy symbols on them that glow faintly in your Sorcerer's Sight.
He believes in all of the faiths, insofar as they can protect him.
Apparently.
This is not said out loud.
Okay.
But no curse, nothing that would be the indication of, okay, so.
No, if anything, he's probably less likely to be cursed. He's got a lot of protection on him.
Yeah, it still adds up, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair, got it.
Wife is staring at me.
All right, Joaquin will kind of take a seat somewhere on deck that is not too subject to sea spray, and out of respect for his host, he's not going to pull out his phone, but instead a notepad and just continue jotting down some stuff that he's working
Nick,
on.
Or at least one who's kept himself alive.
James is going to use Summon the Loyal Steel and check his weapons.
Okay, as soon as you do that, you hear a gun pop up out of fucking nowhere, and this guy is now holding a very large caliber handgun and pointing at you and goes, "How do you do that? What the fuck are you?"
Well.
Excuse me, but that's not how this works. We don't ask each other questions.
He says, "Yeah, that's before you turn into fucking Magic Man. Come on. I'm not working with no spirits or nothing."
Neither am I.
We're not spirits. We're very physical.
You don't get into checking the media much, do you, Hank?
He says, "Of course I do. I'm there every day."
Then you should know who we are.
Or at least who I am.
He looks over at you and he goes, "Not what, though?" Fuck you, Blackthorn.
I'll trade you.
He's still holding the gun, fucking perfectly rock steady, aimed right at you.
Mm-hmm.
He nods.
So, many years ago, there was, well, by many years ago, I mean, let's see, what, 3-4 months now? Checking with other people for the timeline.
You give him the timeline.
Yeah. The 5 of us were given powers by the Unconquered Sun. Basically told us to go out and make the world a better place. We're trying to do that. Mostly by helping people in need. and combating the forces of evil as we come across them.
You ever hear a messenger?
An angel? Or...
Messenger.
The messenger.
Depends what you mean by that in context.
Nope. You haven't heard of a messenger. Good. You ever get hungry? Like real hungry?
No. Most
More than usual.
Mostly we light
You pick up that fish hook over there, and he points to a fish hook stuck in a piece of styrofoam next to you.
I think I understand what you're trying to do. Yes, I can. And I do.
Okay. Feels like a fish hook.
Yep.
He goes, all right, eat this. And he pulls a granola bar out of his pocket and throws it to you.
Okay. I look at him. Is it poisoned?
He does not reply.
I'll eat the frickin' granola bar.
Cool. It is a normal granola bar.
Okay.
He goes, what the fuck are you then? And he puts the gun away.
Joaquin will lean forward from his seat and call, because it's a little ways across the deck. As far as I know, we are humans, and we have something that no one can identify. A gift.
You with the government?
Only so far as we've conversed with the Prime Minister, but we don't work for them.
Never heard of you guys.
I'll put my pistol back into elsewhere and pull out my RPG.
Shit.
Why do you still have that?
Why
Darius.
wouldn't I?
Well, can you teach me how to do
why
that?
didn't you take it back?
What paradigm is that? What are you doing? How are you doing that?
I just kind of do it, to be honest.
What do you mean paradigm?
He looks over at you, James, and he says, "Take the wheel."
I don't.
Mercy sighs and gets up and takes the wheel.
He goes, "Keep it pointed that way," and he points out over open water.
Do you want me to roll sail?
Yeah, go ahead, Mercy.
What? Sail and what?
We'll make it. This is more. We'll say dexterity and sail to navigate the chop. Yeah, pretty much, Dick. And yes, he did. He goes, you've done this before. Great.
I have 3 in sail. Actually, shit, I should have. This is considered a small watercraft, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a specialty.
Okay, well, add your success to that, but he seems fine. He goes, all right, great. And he goes down to the cabin and says, come on.
Okay.
He starts pointing and he goes, that's Jewish. It's Kabbalah, I guess. That one is from Iraq. It's Zoroastrian. That one over there, that's Shinto. And that over there is Buddhist. That one's Christian. He's just like pointing in different directions and listing them. He says, that one is from a cult that I managed to break up down in New Mexico once. That part is still useful though. He pulls out a old wicked looking obsidian knife. He says, I found this down in some Mayan or Incan or some shit temple. And really fucks with mummies.
So you're
different paradigms.
You're an occult hunter of some sort?
I just kill monsters. I don't know about occult hunter. Just kill monsters.
Fair enough.
Kill monsters. Can you pass me that? And he points to a flask.
Yep.
He takes it, pops it open, and takes a swig and says, yeah, kill monsters. And he walks upstairs.
Gotcha. Good guy to have around.
When you get back up, Aki, he walks up to the wheel and says, "Good." Oh, fuck yeah, Nick.
So, Hank the Monster Slayer.
Just Hank.
Do you know anything about the situation we're going into?
Your internet friend says that this guy is some sort of monster, but that can't figure out what. So they asked me to take you on a hunt. So we're gonna go there, find out what he is, and then kill him with the thing that kills the thing he is.
And how does one find out what kills a specific kind of monster?
Books. Lots of books.
Joaquin's eyes light up.
Apparently by making them touch fish hooks and eat granola.
Fish hook is silver. Vampires can't eat.
Got it.
I mean, regular humans can barely eat Nature's Valley granola bars at best, so...
Yeah, well.
I like Nature's Valley granola.
He did make a
bars.
mess of my deck, so...
Oh, you do, Ben.
Pretty human. Not very human, though. Something's definitely wrong with you. I'm just trying to figure out if I need to kill you or not. Hey, what kills you?
Not quite
Joaquin
sure
raises
yet.
an eyebrow. I would
Nothing.
assume the same things that kill anyone, but more of it?
Got it.
Mercy very careful, very easily guides the boat. Well, it sure isn't annoying questions, that's for sure. You've tried that already.
He looks over at you and he goes, "You're funny.
Thanks.
I'm gonna call you funny."
No.
Alright, whatever you say, funny lady. So, we're going to this island. There's a school. Kids are a priority, right?
Yes.
Right. We're sure, though, right?
Yes.
Kids are the priority.
Yes.
He looks
the kids
around
are the
for a minute.
priority.
He
Need to
like
make sure they're
scratches
safe.
his beard and he goes, "What if they're messed up?"
What do you mean messed up? They're kids.
So one time I went to I think it was Berta. Anyway, there was a town that had a dog problem. You know what I mean? Dog problem?
Werewolf?
Werewolf. Dog problem. We call that a dog problem. Anyway, they had a dog problem. So I went and I dealt with the dancers, whatever they call themselves. And then I went back to town and I was not welcome. The locals were dog problems. So I dealt with them, but do you know how dogs work? So if you're born from a dog, you're not a dog unless you are. And all of them have that. No matter how far back in the tree the dog goes, they're all like that. The whole town was full of dogs.
Hank, if you're about to tell us that you killed kids,
What? No.
good. Because I'd hate to kill you here.
Don't
You're
think you
quite
could.
fine.
You saw me pull an RPG out of my ass, right?
He turns around and looks at you and goes, "Yeah, you probably could."
You're funny.
Thanks. Call me funny.
Alright.
No, I just took the kids away.
I'd like to use, crap, can't remember what it is. I'm gonna see if he's lying.
Judge's ear.
That's the one.
Go ahead. He's a normal mortal and cannot lie to you, effectively.
Okay.
Literally, Nick. He's
So,
he's pretty
is he
fucking
lying?
terrified. Sorry?
Is he lying?
No, not at all.
Okay.
He's also scared.
I realize we're walking into a whole bunch of unknown here.
Nah, it's probably one of three things.
Okay, what's your theory?
So it's a bloodsucker, and we're gonna go up in the daytime and introduce it to some wood and some fire and well, my stabbing stick. And he points over to a stick that's like just laying on the deck.
Okay.
Or it's gonna be some fucking weird dog, because those two are always the problem. And some of the dogs like to dress up in suits and ruin our society from the top. Or it's gonna be something weird, and then we'll roll with it. And two of you will probably die.
You say two of us. Do you have a specific two in mind?
You, because you're big, and he points to Ben, and you're probably gonna do something heroic. And you, and he points to you, Joaquin, because you're smart, which is gonna get you killed.
Thanks, that's reassuring.
I hope you don't die. But,
That's comforting, I guess.
that's how hunts work.
Oh, haven't died yet.
How many hunts you done?
One.
Yeah,
Count the
great.
the first dog, which was a very different kind of strange dog, and
Yeah, but I didn't even get to
5 or
fight
6?
that one.
I would say, shall we play it safe and say 3?
Sure.
Okay. Well,
He takes another hit from his flask. Alright, over there, right? And he points to an island.
Can I see anything on the island?
Yeah, there's a town there.
Is there anything of note?
Not really. It's
Okay.
a normal day at this town.
okay. Yeah, that's the one.
He says, great. So, find the kids, and as long as they're not messed up, we get them out of there, and then I hope it isn't something weird.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's not like that thing. There was a thing. It was like a girl kind of, but it was like a fly, and it.
How long you been in this business, Hank?
He looks at you for a moment. He goes, "What year is it?"
2022.
No shit. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. And he walks away.
Good lord.
So where? It's a small boat.
Yeah, he walks up to the wheel and then just kind of like looks at you, Mercy.
Mercy looks back.
It's my boat.
Do it. Do it.
Actually,
See, let the man have his boat.
well, you can fight me for it.
Mercy.
He says, nah, you win. I know how these fights go. I'm not no idiot. Give me my boat.
Says the man who's losing.
He says,
Mercy.
sure.
Think of
I'm
the
gonna
kid.
start shooting if you don't give me my fucking boat.
Like to see you try.
Don't antagonize the
He
hell.
pulls a gun out of his pocket and points it directly at you.
Ben walks over, picks up Mercy, and just walks back away from.
Hank watches you walk away with her and says, thanks. And he goes and gets on the wheel. He has an even more sour expression on his face now. Blackthorn denied. Hank lives or dies by the story.
This is just our way of making friends.
He says, sucks. Don't steal a man's boat.
Ben takes Mercy down into the cabin. And it's just like, Mercy.
Ben?
Can we...
You'll get him back. Don't worry, Blackthorn.
I like fighting as much as you do. But we need to think about the children first. We'll spar with you afterwards. Okay. Right, Mer?
Fine.
All right. Thank you.
You hear
And
a
he
gruff
gives her a
voice
light-
from above deck go, "We're here."
Ben gives her a light kiss on the cheek and goes back up to the deck.
As Ben
Gay!
comes up, Darius says, "Aw," very quietly as he walks past.
Ben kind of gives him the elbow as he walks by. Gently.
My wife. Blackthorn.
Gently.
My wife.
Darius goes overboard.
He stops and he finishes tying the boat up at the dock you guys have stopped at. It's a small private dock, and there's a person coming out looking very indignant walking out of a house.
Oh, I'm gonna leave that to the chatty people. Darius?
Hank
Joe?
walks over, talks to the guy. You see the guy get real mad. You see Hank say something. Guy continues to be real mad. Hank says something else. And then Hank hands the guy something, and the guy grins and seems very happy, and then he walks away, and Hank comes back.
Can I get a basis of what he was saying?
Yeah, the guy was furious that Hank tied his boat up at this private dock, and Hank basically said, "Calm down," and the guy refused to calm down. It was like, "Get your fucking boat out of here or I'll sink it." And Hank said, "Don't fuck with my boat." And then the guy said, "I'll call the police, I swear to God." And Hank says, "How about I just pay docking fees?" and handed him some money.
Okay, cool.
And then the guy was very happy.
I hope he got a receipt.
Don't care. As long as the boat's here when I get back. That's all I got left. We going?
We are.
Great. Need something. He jumps up on deck, opens the hold where the fish would be. Anyone who can look inside sees that instead of fish on the racks, there's racks upon racks upon racks upon racks of equipment. All the different colors of the rainbow, all of the different levels of technology from modern tech to the absolute fucking Stone Age. He pulls out 2 rods. He pulls out a bag full of technological equipment, and he pulls out a small kind of belt that has 3 books hanging on it. He also draws some paper and some firecrackers. He puts all of that into a well-worn hockey bag and throws it over his shoulder, climbs out of the hold, closes it up, locks it, and jumps onto the dock and says, "Let's go."
After
Nice.
Well, on his way out, can Joaquin ask him, "Do you recommend any of us bring any of this?"
Yep. And he keeps walking.
Which ones?
Sorry, he did not let you into the hold. Not a fucking chance.
Oh, okay, got it. So, not relevant.
No.
Okay.
So you were just like, "Should we bring something like that?" And he's like, "Yes," and then just kept walking.
Ben's gonna bring his monkey stick in its carrying case.
Okay. You see the guy in the house staring at you, and as soon as all the exalts get off the boat, you see him freak out inside his house.
I'm gonna make eye contact with him while he's staring at us.
He does, and faints away pretty much immediately.
Ben waves.
He says, "School's up that way."
Ah.
So the school is icy.
It's a school, right? Internet friend said it was a school.
Supposedly, yeah.
School's that way. Let's go.
Alright.
You start walking down the road, and he sticks his thumb out.
Ben also sticks his thumb out.
Okay.
Who's around, by the way?
There's just
Are there-
people driving down the road. You're on the outskirts of a small town, but there's still people here. It's a populated island.
Yeah, Joaquin kind of looks askance.
There's
at the fact
2
that the guy
schools
has
on
a
this
gun out.
island.
I could just call us a cab.
He says, nah, then you'll have credit card, money, something on file. Bad.
Cash.
That'd be better. Someone pulls over. Minivan. He walks up. You see him talk to the person inside, who, very similarly to the guy who was angry about the dock, immediately looks like he does not trust Hank. But again, money. Hank has apparently got quite a lot of money to throw around. Because after a minute he says, "Man, we're going to school."
Fair enough.
That weird moment when a local is willing to drop like 5 men and a woman off at the local school carrying duffel bags.
Hey, how expensive are your virtues?
Expensive?
There are people who will do pretty dark and depressing things for money. Everyone actually has a limit, because there's a certain amount where no matter what evil you commit, you can make the world so much better that it balances the karma. It's just a price point for most people.
Jordan, if I may, I have a question.
Okay.
So we are on an island that is salty with springs, right?
Correct, yes.
So there's no cars whatsoever. It's just horse-drawn buggy.
No, there are cars. Hey, thank you, Pattern Spiders. The Pattern Spiders have granted XP. Let's see who it's for.
Ooh.
We'll see in a sec, I suppose, when the Pattern Spiders tell me who it's for. Anyway, so everyone piles in the minivan?
Yep.
Okay. Everyone gets in the minivan,
Gets in the back.
which is being drove by a very pleasant and very inoffensive looking man in a sweater vest. He says, "So, headed up to the school, huh?"
Yep.
Well, just call me your Uber driver. I'll take you right there. Your friend here is very generous. Hank says, "Yep," and then nothing for the rest of the trip.
Yep.
But this guy tries to chat you up the entire way.
Oh no.
Yeah. About halfway through, he gets a second to glance back and look at you guys and recognizes who you are. Has a moment where he kind of loses his mind fangirling over it, but he's a very careful driver, so you're all pretty safe the whole way there, going just under the speed limit. And he finally manages to come down right as you arrive. He says, "Well, here's the gate. So do you mind if I tell my wife I met you guys, or are we friends now? Am I helping you on a mission? What's going on here?"
I'm gonna lean in and say, we'd really rather prefer if you not inform anyone. Is that okay?
Oh, my lips are zipped. And he goes zip and throws away the key.
I'm going to make that into a pact.
So you stick your hand out to shake his hand?
I touch his words and they form into a pact. I can either shake his hand or touch the words of agreement.
Okay, yep. He is now bound to secrecy. His eyes go real wide, and he looks a little weirded out and panicked, and he jumps back in his minivan and drives the fuck away. That was Eightfold Paths joined, and he just got fucking busted. That was great.
Darius is gonna shift slightly, uncomfortable with how he's feeling.
Sorry?
Darius shifts slightly uncomfortable with the feeling of being so essenceless, because I've used quite a bit already.
Okay.
But other than that, he'll continue on his way.
Okay. The Pattern Spiders have spoken, and all of you have been woven an extra XP. Say thank you.
Pattern Spiders.
Thank you, Pattern
Thank
Spider.
you.
Pattern Spiders.
It was actually one specifically generous Pattern Spider.
Thank you, specific generous Pattern Spider.
Alrighty. So, you guys are now at the front gate of the Red School.
Oh yeah, that's definitely ominous.
Hank looks at
Is
it
the
and goes,
building red?
"Definitely a bloodsucker." Wait, 2 on the nose. Nah, it's gonna be it's gonna be something weird. God damn it! And he walks over a ways, and he like stops suddenly after a point, points up, and above him is a camera that he just walked through and under.
Oh.
Then he looks around and goes, "Yep," and starts climbing the fence.
Ben just kind of looks at the others.
Joaquin's going to he's gonna hold up a jammer, and wireless signals are gonna deactivate for a decent distance away. Can we see a wire leading from this camera?
No, you can't.
Darius is gonna look at Joaquin and say, "You're gonna want to turn that off very quickly."
Turns it back on. Joaquin slips under the camera and then turns it off.
Okay, I'm gonna send a text message to Emily saying that I'm going offline.
Okay.
You're good.
And then
Nick
turns the
don't.
jammer back on.
Okay. So you guys scale the fence?
Yeah. Yes, I believe
Okay.
we do.
The five of you do so quickly, silently, and easily. Hank goes up cursing the whole time, and by the time he gets to the bottom on the other side, he's bathed in sweat. He smells heavily of liquor.
He's been drunk this entire time?
Sorry?
Has he smelled heavily of liquor the entire time?
No, it's worse.
Oh, he's been drinking in the moment that we...
He's sweating it out.
Just gross in general.
He
And he's sweating now.
He's landed on the other side, and he goes, "Fucking son, I hate this part." And he starts walking off into a bush.
Joaquin tries to get ahead of him to, be in advance of all of this.
Okay, so for a while you walk just ahead of him, and then suddenly he grabs the back of your neck and holds you in place.
Joaquin freezes. What is it?
He looks down, and he pulls a branch out from under your foot and moves it aside.
Joaquin does have fairly high stealth and dexterity.
Yeah, but he did that.
Yeah, he helped me out.
You probably wouldn't have broken the branch, but Hank don't know that.
Joaquin just smiles, nods something that can be taken as a thank you, and then proceeds.
Okay, you keep walking. At one point he stops and he looks around, and then he pulls something out of his bag, the two rods, and he waves them around a bit, and he waves them around a bit more, and then he just holds on to them, and he puts them back in his bag.
Darius is gonna look to James. Can you lead me if I close my eyes?
I don't think it's a witch.
Yes, I can lead you.
I'm gonna put my hand on James's shoulder and close my eyes and specifically listen for anything unique.
Okay, well, you can hear the jackbooted thugs that went out to find out why the camera went offline pretty much immediately. They're radioing back to wherever they report to and saying that it's all clear.
There's security.
He goes,
He's going to mentally calculate where they would have come from and determine that door as the least guarded entrance. What security is by that entryway?
So you look to the probably least guarded entrance. The only thing protecting it is a camera.
All right. Different piece of tech.
It's fine, Black.
The camera. I can totally roll this, but I'm gonna try and make the camera loop whatever it recorded for the last. It's been about 30 seconds since they went out to investigate the thing.
This is a side door. They wouldn't have taken this.
Okay.
This is
so
a
it's
school,
gonna loop whatever
so
it
there's a
saw
lot of
for the
doors.
last 20 seconds.
Okay. Give me a intelligence and lore check.
If
And
I
I'll
may.
just forget how cameras work.
Go
Joe,
ahead.
I'll buy you some time. And Mercy heads back and hops over the fence back over. And stands near the gate.
Okay. After maybe 3 minutes, they come back, and one of them comes up to you and recognizes who you are immediately and says, "Are you here for a tour, ma'am?"
I am, yes.
Oh, excellent. Please come with me. I'll have the principal come out right away to meet you. I'm very glad that you came to visit our facility. You note that all of them are armed.
Is this school in such a state that it needs armed guards at all times?
Not really, no. It's a pretty quiet gig. He gestures to the SUV. It's just, sometimes some important people come around here. They like to have security detail.
So there are important people here now?
No, not today. I'm surprised you're here, but, we have orders, so come on in.
Understood.
Meanwhile, where's that check I asked for?
I realized I still need to sign into the Roll20 like an absolute fool.
You pawns.
Oh no.
Ball.
Well, you got a distinct laugh out of my partner.
Oh, good. Well, tell your partner that they are obviously intelligent and that I appreciate them a lot.
Hi, Sam.
Sammiest of Sams.
Sorry, what did you say again, Aki? Sam wanted to hear that.
Sam.
Sammiest of Sams?
Sam.
Sam.
Along the lines of bald.
What day is it?
Apparently it's 10 years ago when I started going bald. What do you mean?
April 24th.
So it's a Friday, so school should be in.
School is in.
Can I not hear any students?
No, you can't.
Can I make a awareness check?
Yeah, sure.
Apparently I get 5 successes.
Great, you easily loop the camera.
To make it less magic, he definitely you know what? It's probably wireless on some level. Sure, that happens.
The cameras here are wireless.
Yes. Okay, good.
You already established that fact at the front gate.
If
Yes.
this is a
Loop.
difficulty 3 or lower check, I have an additional 3 successes.
It is. So you got 8. So listening intently, you can actually hear classes going on. It's just that there's no talking, there's no discussion. It's just apparently quiet time, and kids are working.
Okay.
It's weird. Kids sitting still.
When you get inside, you can see into classrooms. There are maybe 6 or 7 kids to a class, and each class has 2 teachers. The kids right now are using tablets and doing some form of work on them.
Joaquin, when we're definitely not in earshot of any of the classes, whispers to Ben,
It is, yes, Nick.
there are children in many places of the world who would very literally kill for the opportunities these people have. I don't doubt that they are sitting still and anything else required of them.
Yeah, but it still seems off, though. But what can I say? I've never really actually gone to a place like this.
This is not public funded, Lavana. This is owned by a billionaire.
Touching back
It's also a
on
cult.
James's quote on the whole possibly mutant kids school, are there any abnormal heartbeats that I can hear?
Not at all.
Aside from just us being absolutely perfect.
Yeah, your heartbeats are rhythmic enough to set a watch to, but aside from that, no.
Okay.
Oh, wait, actually there is one. Hank's heart sounds real fucking diseased.
Okay, noted. Oh, sorry, Mercy.
Yeah, I know, Lavana. It's madness. Utter madness.
So what do we do now?
Hank goes, find the kids. And he starts walking past classrooms and, looking in. He seems to almost preternaturally know when someone's going to look at a door, because he just happens to walk away before that happens.
James is also going to stealth around looking for the kids that were mentioned.
Okay.
Assuming we saw photos of them.
Yeah, pretty much Blackthorn.
During our first little meeting with IM there. I should be able to remember what they look like.
Oh yeah, you could easily remember what they look like, but you guys managed to sneak through the whole school and don't find any of the kids. Hank turns around and then he points to a closet and he says, "In there."
Okay.
So he wants us to get in?
Yep.
I'll open the closet.
All right, you open the janitor's closet and find a hallway.
Okay.
This normal?
As he closes the door, Mercy walks into the building. So after a moment, the principal comes out. Principal's a well-appointed man wearing a suit. He walks out and says, "Oh, Zenith, I wasn't expecting you, but please come in. As you can see, we have state-of-the-art facilities. Our children are well taken care of. I'm very excited to see you here. Tell me, what's the reason for your visit? I have to ask."
I had heard some great reviews of your school, and
Thank you.
I saw the website, and I figured that I would, come check on the leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you. Would you like? I could call an assembly. Would you like to speak to the children? Maybe give them some words of inspiration.
I'd love to see. What's the term? I'd love to see the children just learning in general. I don't hear anything. I'm surprised.
Oh no, sorry. This is the quiet working hour. So right now, whatever studies they're working on at the moment, they're working on independently. It's a way to build work ethic and foster self-accelerated learning. So the idea is that we give the children a chance to really demonstrate the breadth of their abilities. It's very quiet in here, but I promise you, this is actually the busiest time for them.
I'm like I said, I'm surprised. It's, I went to a public high school myself, so I'm surprised that they're so self-driven.
Oh, well, all of the children here worked very hard to earn their place. Not a single kid in here doesn't understand the opportunity that they have. So it's actually quite easy to deal with day-to-day behavior and discipline and whatnot, because none of them wants to lose their seat, and who could blame them, really? Finishing school here is the gateway to a life of luxury.
Of course. And what brings someone like you here? Like, why take the opportunity here? Out of sheer curiosity, if I may.
Well, a couple things. One, I love working with children, of course, and the chance to lead an innovative school like this one is a huge opportunity for me. And to be blunt, the money doesn't hurt.
Of course.
As you know, we're funded by our founder, and he gestures to a picture on the wall. Mr. Fenner, who has taken an interest in seeing that those without the chance get the opportunity to do better. Really do better. And he looks at you and grins broadly.
Of course. I know our Twilight is actually looking into creating a school himself, so
Oh, is he interested in opening a franchise? Like another school? Another red school?
A red school? Is that what this is called? I actually wasn't sure.
It's kind of the colloquial name. It's technically called the Fenner Institute, but he gestures around. He says, as you can see, there's a lot of red in the decor, so it's called the Red School. Kids call it the Red School, so I do too.
Of course.
Honestly, it's amazing what they're accomplishing today. I don't know if I could have completed this education when I was their age, and we've never had a failure, not one. So I'm very excited to have you here. You're sure I can't convince you to give a speech, or?
would love to see the kids learning first. I'm interested in what kind of lessons you offer, and seeing the kids in their environment is something I enjoy. So.
Okay, well, right this way. We can't intrude on quiet time. It would not be fair to the children. But as soon as that's over, I don't mind introducing you and showing you a couple of the classes we'll be doing.
And meeting some of the faculty as well. You must have some very distinguished members here.
He stands up a little straighter and he says, "We have some of the best educators in the entire world standing in this building. The collective experience and education that the staff here has is enough for most universities, never mind a high school."
I would love to meet them. It's really the faculty that helps these kids achieve what they can do.
He smiles and he says, "I appreciate that very much. I think the kids are really the important thing here, but it means the world to me that you would say that. Really, it does. Please, be my guest. Come with me." And he gestures to one of the classrooms. Meanwhile, in the janitor's hallway, so Hank goes, "It's always in the closet," and he starts walking forward.
What you got?
He says, "Well, but if it goes up, it's probably witches. If it goes down, it's probably witches. Or bloodsuckers. Probably bloodsuckers. His bloodsuckers." He pulls a steak out of his gym bag. "It's daytime, though. Good time for bloodsuckers." He starts going down the hallway, at the end of which there's a set of stairs going down. He goes,
"Great.
You ready?"
Bloodsuckers.
Hank, perhaps hold the steak until we know what's going on. We've encountered several things that weren't what we thought they were.
He nods and says, "That's what the rest of the bag's for." And he starts walking down the stairs.
Joaquin looks at the others. If he stabs a regular person with that, I don't know if I'll be able to save their lives. Let's hurry.
Hank,
maybe somebody get in front of him?
Oh, by the way, some of the things in his gym bag glow under Sorcerer's Sight.
Sorcerer's Sight is an instant duration charm. It actually it gives a snapshot and analyzes the magic that Joaquin is looking at that moment.
So Spirit Detecting Glance is what tells you there's spirits around.
Oh, interesting. So there's spiritual energy or a spirit attached.
I was clarifying.
Yes, Spirit Detecting Glance is the one that tells me if there's spirits around, and that is seen long.
Yep, no, nothing's showing up. Actually, the only thing that seems out of place in this building is that everything is new. Like, you'd expect creepy school with possible basement horror to be old, but it's really not. This place is brand new.
I mean, it's only 3 years at most, and much of this is probably being renovated.
So you get to the bottom, which doesn't take very long. It's only about a floor down. And there's a door, big steel door. Hank looks at it and goes, "It's going to be locked. Keypad." And he walks up to it, and he reefs on the door, and it opens.
He did what on the door?
He grabbed it and pulled it as hard as he could, and it opened.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, "Uh-oh."
Uh-oh?
No keypad. And he points to the blank wall. "This isn't easy. This shouldn't be easy. It's not easy. It's never easy." He pulls out his gun.
Oh boy.
Why don't we take the lead?
He says, "Good. Yeah, you first," and he points to Ben.
Why does it always have to be me?
It's not going
You're
to be
big.
you. I can't see past you.
He holds the door open and
you're
says,
less likely to
"Ladies
die if you're
first."
behind me.
Oh, walk past.
Okay, he comes in right behind you. He's really, really close to you. Like, he's almost touching your back with his shoulder, and he's obviously using you as cover.
Ben just walks behind them
Darius is gonna listen for anybody that might be down the hallway or in the area.
First, allow me to describe the room you're in. You're in what appears to be a very, very, very beautiful, well-appointed red room covered in fabrics and silks, linens, just a beautiful, almost like a harem room style of decoration, cushions everywhere, and there's another door on a raised platform at the other end of the room that's also painted red. Everything in here is painted red.
Seems a little ominous for a school.
Hank looks around and goes, bloodsuckers. 100% bloodsuckers.
I'm gonna quickly scan the room for anything out of the ordinary, anything hidden, anything like that.
Okay. You note Hank is doing the exact same thing.
Hakeem's going to
Both of you come up
for
empty.
his sight.
Okay, so there's nothing in this room that detects on all-encompassing sorcerer's sight.
No he whispers, no magic that I can see.
Hank looks at you and goes, you can see magic? You a witch?
Hakeem nods, and then shakes his head. Nods to the first question, shakes his head immediately after the second one.
Alright, door. And he walks up to it, puts his gun right next to the door with the barrel pointed at the door, and opens it. On the other side, you hear murmuring. He briefly looks over, and then he looks over again, he says, kids, and he opens the door and runs in.
Can I grab him?
Sure. Yeah, you easily catch him. He's a human. You're an exile.
I'm not letting him just run blindly into the room.
Okay, you stop him, and he turns to you and goes to point his gun at you, and with like a wild expression in his eyes, and then he goes, no, wait, you're right. And he says, you first. And he gestures with his gun.
I'll continue ahead. Can I... Like, is it just like senseless murmuring, like they're fading
no,
out?
you open the door, and it's very similarly appointed to the other one, but you see a huge group of kids who are very clearly the missing children in this room. All of them have their ankles tied with red ribbon, and the ribbon is tied to pillars in this room, also painted red.
Is there anybody else in the room?
No. One of the kids, who you recognize, it's Nora, is talking to the kids and trying to keep them calm. But as soon as you walk in, she turns and looks at you and goes, oh, good. We're going to end there for today.
Okay.
That was a nice one. You guys did it. Good job.
Yay.
Nothing could possibly go wrong from here. How are you guys feeling?
Honestly,
I feel a sense of foreboding approaching.
nonplussed and hopeful?
It's
sanguine. I feel sanguine.
Oh, that's
Yes.
a good one, because the school's red. I get it.
yeah.
Definitely
Yeah, it's
not
a little
vampires.
too on the nose.
Is it? I don't know. When I made this up, I thought it was quite subtle.
Just
Yeah.
like
Not
having a
vampire.
yeah. Do you promise?
Tell you what, I promise that this is not a vampire den. So it's the end of the night. My
It's a vampire rec room.
favorite part of the night. It's a vampire boudoir.
No.
Boudoir.
It's the pantry.
No, a pantry is always refrigerated these days. Anyway,
It can't be a pantry. Jordan doesn't have pants.
I do actually.
He's
Oh,
sure
about that?
desperately. You gonna show us?
No.
You gonna prove it?
No, I'm not gonna show you my pants area
Oh.
on stream, because as soon as I put my crotch on the internet, it's there forever. Anyway, it's the end of the night, which means it's one of my favorite parts of the night. We're going to be doing a vote. My players get to vote for who they thought the best player of the night was. They can base it on who's wearing the most pants, for example. Something which I would, of course, win.
So you're gonna lose.
And after that, the pattern spiders get to pick their BFF, which I should set up a poll. Because I can't have any of my mods do it. Pattern
And a reminder
spiders.
to the rest of the players to put your votes in the chat.
Please. So we're gonna start left to right. Mr. Sam, who did you like tonight?
I'm going to vote Mercy for the absolute balls to the wall insanity of I'm just gonna walk up to the front door. You guys do the rest. I'll be here.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, witch, my favorite witch.
Okay.
Actually, I can't
Part
say
of me
that. I
wants
know
to say-
several witches.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm the sexiest one.
I
All right.
married one of them. I can't say that.
That's true. All right. I wanted to say Hank, but I think I'm gonna go with Mercy just because of my boats. To the point where Ben had to physically pick her up and carry her away.
That reminds me.
Mercy, do not antagonize the ally. So yeah, Mercy's my choice.
Okay, fair enough. Next up is gonna be Hacky. Hacky, how are you doing tonight? Who is your favorite? Is it me?
I don't know. Are you wearing pants?
Yes.
Well, I can't confirm nor deny that, so I guess I can't confirm nor deny that you're my favorite. So, in that case, my favorite is Ben. Specifically for alright, we're trying to find out these things. I just straight up go look for the boat. Like, that was just peak Ben. I love Ben. Ben is great. Aki just is...
Ben is great, that is
fan
true.
of Ben.
Okay, Scald.
Voting for Darius, because he was on point, on mission, and, probably stopped Hank from walking into what I'm assuming is a ginormous fucking trap.
Interesting choice. Alright. So, Crown.
I'm gonna vote for James because at one point he was leading Darius around with his eyes closed, and then decided to sneak off and look for the missing children alone. And I just had this moment in my head where I was like, well, Darius is just standing there now. Like, where did my friend go? I can't hear him. He's stealthier than my ears.
That's funny. I like that. That's really good. I Am's favorite tonight was Darius, because Darius was... was James. Because James said that I Am was allowed to contravene the privacy rule.
Made jokes at I Am, though.
Yeah, but I Am just wants to know everything.
What their daddy wasn't their favorite?
No, God, no.
What a shame.
You're not my real dad.
I Am's a toddler. You guys know that, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
Am's
what's
existed
terrifying.
for just over a week.
Woof.
Yeah.
God's help us
A
if he
toddler
finds...
who has had the access to the entire internet for the entirety of its existence.
Not just access, but intimate
existence.
knowledge of.
Yeah.
A toddler with
Anyway.
intimate access to porn.
And is simultaneously a god.
Mhm.
God's help us if he finds Urban Dictionary.
No. The distinct thing is that the one confirmed being that can, by the definitions of this world, be that we know of, of creation, be called a god, truthfully, is distinctly not the being that you want to be helping you with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, Congratulations to Mercy for winning the player vote of the night. You get a point of solar XP for that. And Darius won the Pattern Spiders BFF.
Yay!
Congratulations. You get a point of XP for that. You guys can have 2 and 2 tonight. I'm feeling generous, so you're getting the minimum amount. Plus any that you've received from Pattern Spiders or from the player vote. And now it's time for my favorite part of the night, wild mass guessing. So, what's going on? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this as Hank. Fuck's happened. Start with Darius.
I'm torn between it's either a vampire feeding den or possible vampire breeding den where they're just going to hold on to the children and then turn them when they're older.
Vampire breeding den. Fucking bloodsuckers. Thank you, Sukran. Sorry?
Don't get weird on stream, Jord. That's conky.
It's my job.
Stop it.
Okay. Hey, Scald. Fuck's going on?
I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that I now have a total XP of 69.
Nice.
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 And I don't know.
Nice.
My money's on it's either vampire den or a red herring.
Okay. So these kidnapped kids weren't actually kidnapped?
Nope. They're paid actors.
Oh, just like the chat keeps accusing my wife.
No, she's an unpaid intern.
Yeah, we've established this. This is canon.
My wife is not an unpaid intern. She's my wife. Anyway, all right. Let's Aki. Fuck. What's going on?
Well, Mercy's meeting with some very nice faculty, so it's cult.
It's a cult? Okay.
This is QAnon, but the building.
QAnon the building.
Oh no, are we gonna have to send these kids to QAnon and on?
Which saved me from this headache.
No. I also think it might be a cult. Because the vampire thing seemed a little too on the nose. Especially when, like, why are the kids tied with ribbon instead of, oh, I don't know, actual durable materials? It all sounds a little too funky.
Doesn't it?
It sounds very culty.
No, they just want to make sure these kids get an education, probably. Anyway,
Sure.
Sam!
I am firmly in the camp of this is in fact vampires. After all, we've been encountering the different the different kinds of supernatural beings and people of the world of darkness, bit by bit. And now
it's time for the vampire section of your tour.
I think that a school for the gifted would absolutely be the kind of place that vampires would set up to turn kind of what they consider the cream of the human crop, make them very willingly glad to serve, and turn them kind of like as they achieve physical and to some extent mental adulthood, and send them out into the world into positions of power. That seems really effective for them.
Yeah, sure does. So this is a vampire cult school. Got it. Headed by QAnon. Great. Well, that's the most cursed place I've ever fucking heard of. Mostly because of the QAnon shit. Yeah, guessing you guys will... What?
I almost forgot.
Okay.
Cthulhu.
Oh, obviously. I mean, I just assumed. Oh no, someone... Look at... Oh god. Blackthorn just said QAnon Vampire Academia, which is the worst anime I've ever heard of. Oh, Jesus. Well, guys, I think that's all the details we need to cover for next session. Yeah, is there anything I'm missing? Anything still on the books? No, I think that's it. So, how you guys doing? How you feeling?
My throwing arm's a bit sore.
Oh, how come?
Just javelins.
I'm so sorry, Jordan, you're on borrowed time.
Anyway.
Yeah, you just so real quick, Jordan.
Yes.
Did I introduce us to someone who's a really sketchy guy who may or may not have a part-time
who may or may not have access to a boat? Oh my god.
I am definitely connected us with a hunter, which is super interesting also.
Yeah. Hunter on one last job, you would say.
Oh no.
So the context everyone's missing here is there's this game you can play called One Last Job. And the way it works is a tabletop role-playing game where you and the other players in the game who aren't running it are pretending to be thieves performing one last job. So they're getting the gang back together to do one last job. And there's two ways to play this game, basically. You can play it straight, where you introduce what you're stealing, and then the first guy's like, well, I'm an expert at this, and I can get us past the laser fence that's going to be around the building or whatever.
And introduces an expert, and then you pick up that expert.
Yeah.
So we needed a man with a boat, specifically. That was it.
So, anyway, the second way you can play it is the way that we played it, which is you play it goofy. So, I played a character in that game whose expert ability is that he had a timeshare on a small fishing boat.
Part of a timeshare.
He had part of it. So he got the boat up until midnight and not a second longer. Fun fact, his power was completely wasted because, and I cannot stress this enough, the heist target was on a bridge. Anyway, which we knew going into it.
Which led to a very specific donut fetish. Do not, and I mean donut enter. And the classic line, what is a VTOL, a vertical takeoff and landing, like airplane, but a skyboat that I may or may not have access to?
So anyway, there's the context you were missing. So I just hooked them up with possibly my character from One Last Job. Oh god. Except super alcoholic.
Super alcoholism. Yeah.
That's like regular alcoholism, but you drink while wearing a cape.
I'm pretty sure that's still regular alcoholism.
Not with that attitude.
Oh god. Alright, well guys, I think that is going to be it for us for tonight. I know it was a bit of a slower game today. There's less twists and turns, but I promise there's a reason for all of this. I'm doing things. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow evening. Tomorrow, we're going to fight the A war. We're going to goddamn win it. I will be back at 6 o'clock p.m. PST to fight and win the A war. Please be there. Sign up at your local recruiting station today to serve and assist war heroes like our fallen champion, Dump Truck the Clown.
Don't forget Bald Bald.
Bald is also serving in this war. That is true.
Yes.
Yeah. We also have Hank Hill, Captain Safety. There's several other amazing soldiers. What's up?
If I can shout out my own stream for tomorrow?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I forgot to ask you beforehand, but yeah, and then afterwards, another episode of Aki Reads Kings of the Wild.
Which is very pleasant. I like it when you turn pages. It like tickles my brain. It's real asthma or whatever. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. As always, I appreciate you guys very much. I had some pretty big technical issues at the start of stream, and I really appreciate your guys' patience. I needed to stream today, and this was nice. Thanks everyone for being here with me. I will be back tomorrow, like I said, and until next time, everyone, Bibbles.
Yay!
Good night.